Hi everybody, my name's Amelia. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back, because it's been a while, alright? So, I have a couple things I want to show you. Obviously, you've seen the thumbnail, but I also want to update you just a smidge, just a teensy little bit before we get started. If you're not interested in a life update, you can skip forward to the timestamp on the screen. But I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of background on what's been going on. I believe the last time that I was on YouTube, or at least that I posted on YouTube, was May 30th this year, and it is now November. I have good reason, I promise, it's good reason. So, first of all, in May, I lost my job. It was my main source of income. Now, I did have a second job, so it wasn't the end of the world for me, but it was not ideal. So I lost my job. I don't remember if I talked about that in my life update video or not, but that was a problem. And then there's been some ongoing struggles with that job that I don't really want to get into, but it's unfortunate and it has consumed a lot of my time. Beyond that, wedding season picked up, and I know a lot of you may not be aware, but my secondary job, I am a wedding coordinator. And I work at a wedding venue. I help the bride and groom, like, throughout the wedding day. Like, that's my job. Super long shifts, but they're only on the weekends. And wedding season picked up, so I was doing a ton of weddings. And then, I was, like, a little burnt out. I did get a new job at the end of May, around the time that I posted that video, but I didn't realize how different that new job would be. And I ended up basically working Monday through Saturday with only one day off a week, and that has been really difficult. And on top of all of that, drum roll please, I am also pregnant. I will post a picture of the bump here on the screen. I am about halfway now, and it's incredibly exciting, and obviously, like, that's a lot of life changes to happen, and I will be quitting my wedding job, so that way I can prepare for the arrival of my baby. And actually, when I'm filming this upcoming weekend is my last one. So by the time I post this video, I'll probably have already stepped away from there. But yeah, very crazy. And anyway, I am so happy to get more free time because, let me tell you, working 6 days a week on top of just, being pregnant and trying to hang out with people and do all the fall activities and whatnot, life has been very crazy. October was very crazy, and my tarot business, Indie Tarot Mystique, has been very, very crazy. With all of that, I actually have one more update that I think is super cool, but I have to step away really quick. So I have a newspaper here, and look at that! Look who it is! Ah! So, there is that. That's so exciting. So basically, I got featured in a piece on the front page of a local newspaper. It wasn't just me, it was a lot of psychics and tarot readers in the area, but it was really, really cool, a very fun experience, and that also happened in October. So, as you guys can imagine, it's been a little busy over here, but I have been dying to sit down again and record. My room is, like, currently filled to the brim with baby items. I have so many large things everywhere in my room of, like, baby gear, and I finally got this area cleaned up because this was covered in baby clothing. I'm not even joking. I couldn't even sit down over here to do crafts. So I'm back, and I am just so excited to be able to actually dive back into tarot content, spirituality, all the good stuff. I have been posting a bit more on TikTok, but not as much. I'm kind of afraid to go all in, to be honest with you, because I'm very worried about, like, posting a bunch and then disappearing for 5 months again, right? Like, I'll be stepping back as soon as my baby's born, but ideally, I would like to continue posting on YouTube at a somewhat consistent basis, and I'm just trying to make sure that it's feasible. So, anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about tarot, because, guys, I did not get to study the tarot like I thought I would. I think I made a video about that, and I wanted to study the Thoth system, and it just did not happen. And I wanted to pull out all these other decks I have and work with them, and it just did not happen because life. So, yeah, I have another tarot deck. I have a bunch of tarot decks in the mail, actually, that I want to slowly show, and I was honestly going to wait and do a whole haul towards the end of November, but I was feeling very inspired today, and so I'm just going to show you the one deck that's already arrived. It actually arrived a couple weeks ago, and the others are, like, all set to arrive, kind of, like, staggered, like, one a month, really. So I'm like, maybe I should just do, like, a mini haul, one deck a month, and just kind of talk about it. And another thing I want to do too is just kind of like work with decks on screen so you guys can see what that looks like, see how the study works, etc. And of course kind of fill in content about whatever I'm feeling inspired about, to be honest with you. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. But yeah, let's just look at this deck, right? So I've never really backed anything on Kickstarter until this year. And I finally did it. I finally went on Kickstarter. I think I've made a grave mistake because, like I said, I have a lot of decks in the mail. But I got the Endless Tarot by Eric. Eric, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to say your name. Is it Maley? I don't know. I don't know how to say your last name. But, this tarot deck, I saw this deck on Instagram, maybe? I feel like I follow Eric. I think I've been following Eric for a while before the deck was even put on Kickstarter. Okay, yeah, so the Ink Witch Tarot. Yeah, that's the one that Eric is really well known for. And then also the Endless Oracle, and this is now the Endless Tarot. And I have been following Eric. Eric has a few other decks as well, but I've been following Eric probably since I learned about the Ink Witch, which had to be a couple years ago. And when I'm not a huge Oracle fan, so I remember the creation of the Endless Oracle. I think that came after Ink Witch, right? I remember it, and so I feel like it had to. But I remember that, and I remember not really being interested because I'm not a huge fan of Oracle. But the Endless Tarot caught my attention, and the Endless Tarot was something that Eric put on Kickstarter this year, and I backed it, and it arrived, and I'm just really excited to get it. You guys can pause to read if you want to read that, but yeah, this was like my first Kickstarter deck to arrive. Now, I actually purchased another Kickstarter deck at the same time, but it hasn't come in yet, and it probably will come in November, maybe December, so like I said, we'll show it when we get there, but look what else it came with. It came with this cute little card, like a postcard, and on the back there's like some QR codes and such, and like a little note. So it came with that, and then it came with a little business card as well, the stuff about the artist. So I have done an unboxing. I posted the short on YouTube and on TikTok, so I do have a little unboxing, or maybe I just posted it on Instagram and YouTube. I don't know. It's posted somewhere. I will leave it in the comment or in the description. But I did do an unboxing for it. And here we're just going to open it up, kind of take some things out. It's still in order. There's a little guidebook. And I'm not going to like do a ton with the guidebook. I'm going to reference it as needed if I don't understand a card or the choices made. But, oh gosh. Okay. Look at the inside of that. I love these magnetic boxes. They're so convenient. Okay, so we'll have the cards here, and let me just make sure the camera is in focus. All right, so I moved it a little closer for you guys. So we're just gonna kind of look at it card by card for the most part, just kind of giving my thoughts and impressions on it. This is a deep dive into the deck. However, I don't know if there is nudity in the deck or not. That is another reason I kind of stepped away from YouTube for a while, is because YouTube has been more picky about that, and I totally get it, I understand, which is good and bad, obviously, for different reasons, but it does make it very difficult, and, you know, for me personally, it did kind of impact it impacted what I put on YouTube, and the fact that I just basically took a step away, because there's so much, like, there's a lot of natural bodies, natural looks in tarot, and it's just something hard to avoid, and, yeah, it's just, I have to censor it, okay? And so that's been a whole other can of worms, but I don't know if there's anything like that in this deck. If there is, I will have to cover it, so just a heads up. All right, so what I love about this deck, you actually can like line it all up and it makes like a little picture. Because we're so zoomed in, I'm not going to do that yet, but I will do it towards the end. So we have the Fool here. I like that we're kind of following behind the Fool, like rather than like being like on the side here where the cliff, where we can see the cliff just coming off the edge and the person, like we're not getting a side profile. We are getting like behind them as if we're following them as well. I kind of like that. That's interesting. I also really like this magician because it's not like the typical magician. I like that it's like a stone. It almost feels ancient, eclectic. Like this is esoteric wisdom being passed down and this person's like studying it, right? That feels very magical to me. And it's different than the magician standing at a table and like holding his wand to the sky, which obviously has its own meaning, but I like seeing things depicted in different ways. Or like this high priestess, she's sitting on the ground in front of this like reflection pool with the moon. I think that's quite beautiful. Now, I may not have something to say about every single card, simply because I won't necessarily. I do think with my Emperor and Empress here, like, I'll mention that I do like the depiction of like life-giving fruit and plants versus like a rocky terrain. But you guys, if you guys saw my, I did this a while ago, the Spacious Tarot, I'm obsessed with the Emperor and Empress like depiction in that deck, and so I'm always going to like pick that. Well, maybe not always, but like I guess for now I'm obsessed with that deck. So and those kind of reprogrammed my understanding of those two cards. This Hierophant is also very, very nice. I like the statues with the massive keys and like the city in the background. Is it my favorite depiction of the Hierophant? No. Again, kind of like what I was saying about the Emperor and Empress, I think my favorite is from the Tarot of the Divine Masculine. I love the guy teaching the younger boys, and I just like that kind of art style and stuff. But I mean, I still love this. I mean, I love how the color palette is so cohesive. There's like little pops of red, but it's very moody, very like in shadow. I like the depictions of this. Okay, so there are two Lovers cards, and I'm gonna hide that. I hope that this is fine. Yeah, but there are two different Lovers cards here, and I think I still like the one in shadow more, to be honest. But classic looking Chariot. I mean, it's coming from the back again, so we're kind of like a different perspective than normal. Ooh, I like that Strength card. This Hermit card's really sweet. You guys know this is like my favorite card, the Hermit, so always interested to see how people depict this fella. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know what they're doing. Let's see if I can find out. Okay, he said, so it has now that I'm opening this for the first time, there's like a meaning, a reversed meaning, some keywords and such. There's in a panorama. Okay, I'm gonna read that here in a second, and then there's the creative note. And the creative note, I think, is what's gonna tell me what this is about. So, I wanted to depict some version of the Greek fates on this card. Okay, classic, yeah. Weaving thread into cloth. The large object behind them is meant to be some kind of otherworldly astrolabe. Oh, okay. Alright. Cards like this one often make me realize that I see the Endless Tarot deck as depicting some other world. These can't really be the fates because there is no Greece in that other world. I think that this is why I wanted to depict these weavers, Wheel of Fortune, as an astrolabe, and that also wouldn't exist in our own world. I hoped the imagery would evoke a sense of familiarity without actually being a precise representation of anything in our own world. Okay, yeah, I like that. I actually do like that the creator, author, the artist, all the above, right? I love that Eric decided to create his own world within the cards and like really lean into that, while still drawing inspiration from the real world. Like I am totally down for that. I actually prefer that in a lot of ways, just because I love that creative endeavor of inventing your own things, even if it takes inspiration from somewhere else, versus always seeing stuff from like my own world, put into things. Now the panorama note says, pay close attention to any figures that seem to be taking particular note of the Wheel of Fortune or appear to be oblivious to it. Fate sometimes has a tendency to sneak up on us and take us by surprise. Other times we approach it with full awareness and acceptance. Who in your larger reading appears aware of the Wheel of Fate? Does anyone appear to be moving toward it or fighting to get away from it? Okay, yeah, so like that's if you had like a spread. I think I tend to view tarot like that. I always, well not always, but a lot of the times I do look at characters in the card to see who's looking where. Like, let's see here. Let's say we had this. It looks kind of like this person's going that way now. Or if we had the lovers over here, if that was in a spread, they're not really looking at it. You know, they're looking away from it. I think that's a wonderful way to help you understand tarot, to understand what you're paying attention to. It's a really good way to like spruce up a reading and make a reading more involved. So I do think that is clever. Nice Justice card. The Hanged Man as a chrysalis is very interesting to me as well. I don't want to go, like, I don't want to take too long. I think this looks like a graveyard, maybe. I don't want to, like, dwell on every single card. Like, I know I want to deep dive, but I don't want it to be so long, because if these videos are too long, they're a beast to edit. So, I'm not going to take too long on these. Just kind of flip through them a little bit. But this also isn't, like, a very long haul, so I don't want to, flip through and skip cards, because I don't really think that's necessary. Oh, it's a unicorn! That's so cute! I don't think it's necessary to, like, skip the cards, you know, because, while a haul with, like, a lot of decks, I would have to, I don't think I need to with these little ones. Look, it's gonna take me a while to get back into all this. I'm a little rusty, okay? I'm a little, it's been a hot minute. It's been months since my last video, and before that, it was months. Judgment's a peacock. That's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna look that one up because that's interesting to me. Why a peacock? Oh, it's a phoenix. My bad. Okay. I like the idea of a phoenix, a bright and shining symbol of eternal life, as the judgment awaiting for us atop the stairs on this card. Okay, cool. Very interesting. It makes more sense as a phoenix. I guess the head does look like a phoenix. I just wasn't really looking that hard, apparently. And then the world card, which we have here on this poster. What's interesting is this world card looks a lot to me like the Spacious Tarot Judgment card, where there's a doorway. I mean, this is a circle, but it was like a rectangular doorway with the same kind of galaxy painted inside that you like step through. So those are giving me very similar vibes. Interesting to see them in two different cards, which I actually have thoughts about depictions being like utilized in different cards, and this would be an example of them. I'm specifically thinking of a deck I just purchased, which will come in a couple weeks actually, because it wasn't a Kickstarter, so it's actually going to arrive a little bit sooner. But when I get that deck, I will talk about it more at length. But basically seeing the same concept in both Judgment and the World, like that's very interesting to me. It provokes a lot of thought about how these two things could both coexist and both make sense. So I find that fascinating. Okay, and we've gotten into the minors. I think the minors are where this deck really shines with like a narrative story. I feel like you really start to see the trees start to align, you know. The deck starts to feel endless in that way. So used to seeing like a crowd in the Six of Wands. That's really interesting to see it like post celebration. Like the celebration has happened, but it's over. Because I'm so used to seeing it like being active. I think that guy's like rallying everybody. Oh. That's an interesting way to see the Eight of Wands. I chose to portray 8 candles for the Eight of Wands for a few reasons. This card is about fleeting energy. It represents swift progress, but also the need to harness that power quickly before it fades. Oh, okay, I see, like a candle. Okay. Yeah, no, I like that. Okay. Took me a minute, because I never really think of I never really think of candles as quick burning, but they are. I just never think of it that way for some reason. Like, to me, a candle, you light it and it lasts for hours and hours. but really they do burn quick, and once they're gone, right? But I guess I never think about it that way. Oh, the 9 of Wands. Do you think they're going after that little animal? I hope not. I'm not going to read everything today. I don't know what I want out of this video. Sorry, everybody. That one's nice. Very cute. Okay, and now we're back to what feels like, again, to me, it feels like the Spacious Tarot, but that's not the only one. I'm just obsessed with that deck. I'm so sorry, Eric. I don't mean to keep comparing your deck to the other one. I'm trying not to, but the Spacious Tarot is on my mind. And when I see the Salamanders, that's kind of where I saw it first. Oh, but I love the Knight card here. That's not a salamander, and that looks epic. That looks great. Ooh, depicted with the snake. Oh, that's nice. I saw this one along, like, there's also a little salamander in there. I saw this one, like, earlier when I was flipping through it on my own when I first got the deck. And I don't know what it is about this card, but it's really drawing me into the King of Wands, which is not a card I typically feel drawn to. So this depiction, for whatever reason, is, like, soaking me in. No, sucking me in, drawing me in. Okay, well, that's nice, that's lovely. 2 little birds sitting on a fountain, singing sweet songs. Okay. Oh. So, I have seen a lot of interesting depictions of the 4 of Cups recently. And this one's unique to me as well. I've never seen it depicted like this. 4 paper boats drift lazily across the water, witnessed by a lone swan. I thought it would be interesting to see how the swan looks similar to the paper boats and how they all float aimlessly across the water, going nowhere. The swan is a lonely character here, but I can see it imagining the boats as other swans. Poor company, though I'm not sure it would matter in a situation where the swan has little interest in going anywhere else or doing anything but imagining. Okay. Very, very cute. A forgotten fountain. Oops. Oh, that's cute. Getting little flowers. I like this 7 of Cups. I really like this. I love that it's like a genie. Like, with all these options, but you get one, you know? Kind of feels like pressure, the pressure's on. But I also just like, I like the mysticism and the fantasy behind that. Oh, cute. He, like, went across on his boat and he's going that way now. Huh. Oh, you know, I'm loving cats more and more and more. My cats are bad, but I'm loving cats a lot more. And if you're like, oh my god, no, they can't be bad. Yes, they can, okay? They can be bad. They're so adorable, and they cause so many problems, and they're like raising toddlers. Constantly. I just have very hyperactive cats, I think. Cute little Page of Cups. Yeah, I think I will look. I'm like, oh, guys, I'm not gonna look too much. Okay, let's see. I chose to show each page in the Endless Tarot as a small animal in order to distinguish them from the other court cards. I like that, okay. The cups are the soup most associated with the element of water, so the Page of Cups is, of course, a fish. There are many fish in the Endless Tarot deck, but this one will likely appear larger than the others if they ever appear together in the same reading. This is a fish with big dreams, after all. The Page of Cups, like all the other pages, well, I added a word there, sorry, has a lot to do with the concept of potential. When I was designing this card, I wanted to create something that would easily connect to other sources of water in a panorama so that one could imagine the page swimming easily from one card to the next. Am I crazy? Is this supposed to be set up so, like, all the cards could be in panorama, so it's not just in the order that they're shown, so it's not like, oh, okay, we have Ace through 5, that makes a story, but it's like you could put the Ace of Wands, the 5 of Cups, the Strength card, the King of Swords, like you can put them all next to each other and it'll still make a panorama, because now I'm thinking that's what they meant. I think that's what you meant. I mean, I'll look. We'll find out. I love the knights. I love how all these knights are depicted. It looks so good. That looks epic too. And all the kings, I think, well, okay, I don't know about all the kings, but the 2 kings I've seen so far have been surrounded by other people. And I like that depiction because they're, you know, like fatherly, honorable, leadership kind of characters. Like they're supposed to guide the people and be true leaders. And I like the way that that's depicted in this deck. Oh, that's cool. And then you still have to pick. There's like crossroads up there. And they're like welcoming you, but they're blindfolded. That's spooky. I wouldn't even know what to pick if I came across that in real life. Interesting. This makes me, and I don't know if this is actually what it's supposed to mean, but it makes me think the whole city's been sacked and like taken by like the enemy or something, and they like blocked it off, and that's like the swords like basically saying like, you know, whatever group won and everybody else is dead. I don't know, that sounds really morbid. And this person's like lamenting because maybe they came back from traveling and realized everybody they have ever known and everything they've ever loved is gone. That'd be pretty heartbreaking. Either that, or maybe it's like a wounded soldier and this is like outside of the town, and like so a soldier or somebody died and they got buried, and you know this is honoring them and this person's mourning them. Regardless of what it means, I'm not going to open the book on this one because I actually like that I'm coming up with so many interpretations of how I view it. I love this one because it's so versatile, and I feel like no matter how you look at it, you end up with the idea of loss. So as much as I do want to know what Eric's intentions were with this one, I'm actually going to keep this one to myself, or like keep it from myself, because I can come up with so many different stories of what this would mean and why this person would be mourning and why those swords are there. And so I'm really liking that. I'm liking that there's more to it. The 4 of Swords. That feels good. That's a nice one. That feels like a classic interpretation, but also like it has its own spin. Uh-oh, fighting. Oh. Huh. Oh man. Kind of with this one as well. I kind of take my own interpretation with it. Like there's a couple things I can think of why this would be depicted this way. I like that. I like that about these cards. I think the sword suit might be my favorite so far. I feel like Eric did a really good job depicting the swords. The queens all have some kind of like animal element to them, which is really exciting. Like almost like they're otherworldly. Well, that's a cool king though. He's pretty otherworldly. And again, look, the king is surrounded by people. That's so different. Like usually we see the king and queen like on their own all the time. And I love that these kings are surrounded by people. That is so lovely. That makes my heart swell with like joy. Little buddies. This feels like a classic interpretation as well. That one's not a classic interpretation, but by golly, is it like a classic trope. And I am here for it. Absolutely. Yeah, I really love the colors in this deck. I feel like it's gonna look so beautiful on like the table, because I haven't actually like used it yet. I mean, it's all still in order. I'm gonna shuffle it here in a second. But there's a couple things I want to do before I shuffle it, but I will, shuffle it here in a second. But I feel like the deck offers so much, and it's like it has that muted palette. This coloring, like, it's not stylistically the same as the Fyodor Pavlov tarot, but the colors feel similar in that there's like a few dominant colors. and they're more muted, they're subtle, and they're soft, and then they have like splashes of other colors. They just look lovely. They look lovely in readings, to be honest. Oh, cute. These are so nice. I like the way they feel, too. We'll talk about cardstock here in a second. I just love the way that they feel. See, always with people. I adore that. Ooh, here's the extra card. This is the one that's depicted on the back of the guidebook. That's the story. That's cute. So, with this, how would I describe this cardstock? Guys, I don't know much about cardstock. It's very thin compared to, like, not overly thin, but thin compared to other decks. Let me fix my camera. I feel like I need to scoot out. Okay, I scooted the camera out. Also, apologies if the lighting is kind of crappy. That's winter, and I've always had trouble filming during winter. Maybe I will work harder next time to prepare, but I was so inspired today, I just wanted to make this video. And use this deck. I want to use it. I want to, like, dive into it. I didn't want to have to put it all back in order and yada yada yada. Also, I wanted to show my first impressions of each card. Now, back to cardstock. It's thin. It's thinner than I'm used to for tarot decks. It's not so thin, but it is papery in my opinion. I wouldn't say it's the thinnest. It's not going to be bad. I think it snaps back pretty well so far, but I don't know. I really genuinely don't know how that's going to hold up. Like, I don't know. But I'm a fan of thinner cardstock, more flexible cardstock over stiff cardstock any day, so I'm not mad at it. I'm going to break the deck in half really quick, and I'm going to lay out cards just in like an order, so you guys can hopefully see the panorama. So we have 4 cards here. I'll move that out of the way. We'll get 5 of them. So where the tree line falls, it goes up and down, you know, it does kind of like line up, but the scenes don't necessarily line up per se. Like when I'm looking at it this way, there is like this nice seamless darkness, you know, between each scene. But I wouldn't say that they like flow into one another exactly, which is kind of what I was expecting. Like I was expecting them to flow together more naturally, but they feel more like I'm peering into different alcoves of a forest, but they look absolutely stunning, like drop dead gorgeous with this dark shading in between them. So I mean, even though it's not what I expected, I am not upset about it by any means. It looks fantastic. And also, I feel like it's kind of hard to have like that seamless integration anyway, and I don't think that's what he was going for. And by that I mean like making a path through the tarot. Like I don't think that's what he was going for. But what I think, now that I have looked at the cards, let me shuffle these really quick. Oh, that feels so good. I can't bridge yet, guys, but this would be a perfect deck to bridge with. They are going to bend because they're a thinner cardstock. So, they're not because I did it both ways. I'm going to do it again. But, wow, these feel amazing to shuffle. Oh, I love it. Yeah, these are a dream to shuffle. Oh, yeah. And then they slide together. Cool. I love that. I don't know what texture this would be at all either. It feels like classic cardstock to me, so I don't know. It's not classic, 'cause it's not like linen. It's not linen. It's matte, I guess, 'cause it's not super shiny or anything. But it shuffles, like, beautifully. I love it. Okay. Now let's just take a few cards. Ooh, we got the extra one. I guess I didn't shuffle that part. Okay. So yeah, the scenes align card to card, no matter what card you have. That's actually really exciting. I feel like you can tell so many different stories. That means it doesn't limit itself. Because I feel like what I was envisioning would have limited the deck too much. This way, you're not limited by the path that the story takes. So, you know, you have this, and then it kind of like fades, and it connects perfectly into the next card, and so on and so on and so on. Like, it really does connect so seamlessly if you like line it up. This is wonderful. Like, this is awesome. And you still get that nice narrative looking story from it. Like, I'm not gonna have this many cards. Let me cut the deck and pick a couple other ones. We'll do 3, and we'll just pretend there's a story to it. Okay, we got the Moon, 9 of Cups, and the Devil. Well, that's unfortunate. Alright, so, like, if I had this, lining them up together, you know, like, it just creates a very unique picture. And then we can start dissecting the cards and see where the characters are heading. Like, this one's going this way, away from the Devil now. But, like, it almost reads in reverse to me, because, like, the Devil is, like, about your obsessions, your addictions, the things that you would do anything for, that you would commit crime for and stuff. Things that maybe some toxic behaviors thrown in there. And I'm thinking, like, the cat was rewarded handsomely, gets all the riches that they've ever wanted, everything they've ever wanted, but at what cost? You know, like, emotionally, how is that going to impact them? If you drew another card, cut the deck again and just pick one, 3 of Pentacles, that's interesting. Like, did we decide at the end, like, emotionally, that because we knew this was, like, a questionable thing to do, are we going to start giving, away some of our wealth? I guess giving away would be the 6 of Pentacles, but, you know, working with others, using these riches to build something with other people. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting concept, and I like the idea of seeing where the characters are looking, who's paying attention to what. That's a lovely way to read the tarot and gain a different perspective. Now, I do read reversals, so this won't work if I'm reading reversals, but if you don't read reversals, you could set them up right this way and it would look, you know, it does what you'd expect. I read reversals, so for me, it's probably going to be more like, you know, something like that, and then it doesn't really line up, but I can still look at the characters and see where they're paying attention to and all that. Overall, I'm very happy with this deck. I love it. I'm excited to go through the guidebook. I'm excited to use this. I feel like it's going to be a really good reading deck for clients, which is something I consider. I don't always get decks for clients, as you guys are well aware from the Divine Masculine Tarot, but I definitely do choose decks for clients, and this is one of them. Now, it can't really be a reversal with the cards upside down because it doesn't have that. It wasn't built to be that, and that's okay. I will read it as a reversal, but that's because I don't look at the backs of the cards when I shuffle. I hold it like this. And yes, you can see the ones in the front, but I'll pull from the back. So, I wonder what that story card means. I'm not going to tell you because I think I don't want to give away too much of the deck, and I think I want people to buy it if they're interested. I want them to support the creator. So I'm not going to read the story card for you guys, but I am going to read it for myself because I keep pulling it. I also need to go find the other Lovers card and pull it out because I got 2 of them in there right now. But anyway, I hope that you guys liked this mild deep dive into the Endless Tarot, and hopefully I'm able to make more content for you guys about the other decks that are coming in and just more spiritual stuff now that life is changing for me. Obviously, like I said, I'll be taking a break once the baby arrives, but it's something I would like to keep doing in my life. I really enjoy YouTube, so yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful rest of November if I don't see you before then, and yeah, I'll catch you next time.